Hey everybody, Liz here. Thanks for stopping by. So I wanted to do a vlog today because it's been a little bit over 2 weeks since I've been into Curacao, and I've noticed a lot of things so far as living outside of the United States for any amount of time. This is still not the longest. I have 2 more weeks to go before I've officially lived outside of the United States longer than any other time in history for me. But I think it's interesting to see what I've noticed with the culture, my own expectations, and that sort of thing. So I do want to go into more specifics later, but I wanted to recap kind of what my thought process was when I was planning to come here versus how it's panned out. So I kind of envisioned it expectations or like order of operations or even the best laid plans of mice and men. So one of the things that I had planned for was a vehicle. Second thing was a savings account. Third thing was look for a job. So when you get here, though, there's a lot of things you don't necessarily know until you get here. So that expectation has changed pretty significantly. So as far as vehicles goes, I had originally planned $2,000 for a car. Just a cheapo used car that I could rely on for a while before, I'm fully moved over here and brought my own vehicle over. Well, $2,000 is not going to get you a great car. I mean, we were looking at some things and they were just really nasty beaters, just don't really work. And then I thought, maybe we could lease a vehicle, right? Like you can rent a car for a month or something like that. Well, those are about $350 to $400 to even $500 a month. So again, that's not going to last you too long. And at the end of that, you're out whatever money that you put into it. So then I thought, what's transportation-wise? Maybe we could get a scooter or not like a Vespa, but something similar. So that's kind of where that sort of went. And the very second thing that I did on my second day here was to go and open a checking account because, I have cash and I don't want to have that sitting around and just not have it be secure. If you bring several $1,000s worth of cash, you don't really want to have it around. Well, what I discovered is that you actually need to be a resident here in order to open a checking account. So you need to have a residency permit or you need to have, a pay stub or something to prove that you live here. So that was something that I hadn't really thought of before because, again, it's just where else are you going to think about that? You're living abroad and obviously, from banking protections against money laundering, for offshoring and all these other things, or even technically I'm not, I'm not an illegal immigrant. I'm still here legally, of course, but I'm still an immigrant. So I hadn't really counted on that, right? And so you have this framework in your mind, and when things deviate from it, it's a little, let's just roll with the punches and see where we go. I'm one of those people that likes to have all their ducks in a row. I like to have a schedule. I like to have, this is what I'm going to do now, and then in 2 hours I'll be doing this. It's the sort of thing where it's like if you ask somebody to tell a joke versus tell a lawyer joke. Okay, well now I have a better idea of where to start. Or tell a clean joke versus a dirty joke. If you have something to work with, it makes it a little easier. Apart from just tell a joke. What joke? So, I think in a way there is an adjustment to the culture that I haven't really, counted on. I hadn't really, I'm very detail-oriented and, this is what kind of shampoo I use, so I haven't been able to find that shampoo in the past, so I need to bring 6 bottles with me. That's where my brain goes. Not so much, you're going to encounter things that are different, and you're not mentally prepared for that difference. And it's not like I'm going, oh my God, I'm freaking out. It's more just, whoa, that little thing is different that I hadn't anticipated on. And some of those things are good. So one of those things is food. So one of the things that I always ran into when I came here was I gained 10 pounds because the food is amazing and you're used to eating American proportions. So you'll eat more of it or have second helpings. The next thing you know, you're like, oh, I'm bloated. I feel like, yeah, nope, I've gained weight. So one of the things that I've gotten back into, of course, is exercising. So there's the rusty seated exercise bike behind me, but I also go on walks through the woods. Well, I'm used to Minnesota, so even with the heat, I realize, of course, you get acclimated, that sort of thing, but if you're not used to even the heat is different. So in Minnesota, it's during the summertime when it does get the hottest, for example, there's a lot more humidity. This is more of a drier heat. So a drier heat kind of saps the energy out of you differently than humidity does. So it's just one more small thing to kind of get used to. So not only is the food different, but the way that you kind of prepare, you have a mode in your head for exercising. So for me, back in Minnesota, that would be inside of an air-conditioned exercise room that would have ellipticals that I could move on. And even during the coldest part of the winter, it was still climate controlled. Well, this is not the case. I'm actually going outside because I don't freeze my rear end off if I go outside. So there's a lot that I'm kind of getting used to. And then, of course, there's the major culture on the island where I'm used to, again, just the United States, just very regimented, fast, 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 fast. You're moving quickly. You've got so much to do. Things are further apart, so driving time is a factor. But here, it's the islander culture. It's much slower paced. Things are a lot closer, so I can go. I don't need to get in a vehicle and drive for 20 minutes to get groceries. I can just walk outside for 20 minutes instead. So there's adjusting to the culture that I think is really the part that I'm starting to not struggle with, but certainly kind of get used to. So I'm going from a very regimented, fast-paced American system to one that's much slower, much more loosely based, okay, we're going to take it slow, we're going to do this, okay, well, the job's partway done, so we'll finish it up later, that sort of thing. So it's islander, and I'm not used to that. So that's something that I'll pick up, of course. But the other major thing that I was thinking of to kind of go into the well-placed, the well-laid plans of mice and men, where I had thought that for me, of course, when I come here, I go into vacation mode where I chill out, but near the end of that chill out period, whatever length of time it might be, I'm ready to go back to what I used to know. Well, there is no going back. There is nothing to go back to. I mean, I have a ticket, but that's in the next 6 months. So if I really wanted to, I could figure out the dates to go back sooner, but I've only been here 2 weeks, so why am I thinking of going back? Why do I have that thought in my head? Well, it's because I'm not used to it yet. I have transitioned out of vacation mode, and I want to go back to work mode, but there's nothing to go back to. So in this case, it makes more sense to, okay, well, how do I restart my routine and restart what's comfortable to me in this new context? So I've already applied for positions. I've already gone to the local synagogues here to meet people and to enjoy the differences. And I do have footage of for Koningsdag, for example. That's an edited video that I'm working on. And they're not that long, but there is kind of that island culture of, okay, we'll do it later. Okay. So there's that. But for me, I think what would be useful is once you transition out of, I'm just going to get a beer or an alcoholic beverage and lay on a beach, to, okay, well, I'm going to get up today, and at 8 o'clock in the morning, that's when I'm going to be up. And at 8:30, I'm going to be done with breakfast, and then I'll go for a walk out into the foresty area, which I do want to show, for about an hour or so, come back, take a shower, then for an hour, practice my Dutch, then for another hour, start working on this stuff. And, you see what I mean, where it's you develop a routine to kind of make it a little easier on yourself, to make it so that it's not so culture shocky, so you have something that you feel more comfortable with. And for me, routine is that sort of thing. So as far as the big changes, that's definitely it. So for me, since I'm a planner, this will give me something to work on, and since several things have shifted around from what I originally planned on, I think it'll make it easier. So this is a very strange vlog, but I think it's expectations and culture shock, essentially. So as far as the upcoming weeks come, like I said, I do have that Koenigsdag video that I will try to get finished out before the weekend. And I do want to go into some other topics too, and give some more shots around the island too. But that's all I've got for now. But if you haven't considered already, give this video a like, add a subscription on, or subscribe to me, and leave a comment below. What do you think? If you ever traveled away yourself, do you have any advice? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. So beyond that, I hope you have a great afternoon, and thanks for stopping by. Bye.